will be Mr. Toastmaster J.Q. Luke.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
2 points I'll be focusing on today. I was told by Aisha to look for how she performs in terms of natural conversation and not reading from the paper. And the second topic will be connecting with the audience. For the first one, I think you did a great job balancing between looking at your paper and looking at the audience. You still have to maintain eye contact, but also was able to take your points through by referring to your notes. And you did not look anxious while you're doing that. So I think you did great. In terms of connecting with the audience, you had a cultural reference with Gargano and the Lord of the Rings. I think most of us have seen that movie. I haven't, but I've seen that scene at least. So that's somewhat connected with me. The human part in terms of our connection would be when you give an example at the Turkish airport where you are having problems with normal airport stuff. We all experienced that. I think that was a good connection with the audience. Some advice I would suggest, even though I'm not as experienced as you are, would be when you said wait for it, you said twice. I think saying 3 times would be better. The first 2 times should be faster, and then the last one would be a little bit slower. So it would be wait for it, and then I think you said you had very dynamic hand gestures, especially when you said ask. But from my point of view, I think the podium is a little bit larger than you, and you stood here the whole time. So it didn't give me a sense that you command the stage enough. So perhaps in the future, stand in front of the stage, or perhaps move around a little bit to show your domain here a little bit more. In my opinion, I think you shall pass.
Our second speaker was Kathleen Lekadu, marvelous job. And evaluating her is a fill-in. Let's welcome Toastmaster Steve Joseph.
Steve.
All right. My progression with languages. Excellent topic. It was really nice to be able to listen to a speech and learn a lot from it. I was scribbling notes down as you're talking about everything. If I had 2 words or 2 adjectives to describe your speech, it would be holistic and explorative. You really took us into the metaverse with your experiences with language, from learning your first one, and then trying to connect concepts so you can learn your second one, and then teaching, and then reflecting on how you taught in order to be more effective as a teacher, especially when you would have barriers or potential barriers of communication with your students. That was excellent. Also excellent were your gestures, whether you're talking about connecting, or going from beginning to end. It made for a very immersive and engaging experience for the entire audience. You also shared very meaningful stories, like the first one where you're talking about your mom making the decision that you would learn English from school and not from her, and that's why she would speak Creole only at home. My parents spoke Creole only at home because it was their house and that's how it's going to be. You also shared the story about wanting to take French because it was easy A. I think we've all had the experience of saying, oh, this is easy, that's what I'll do. You also talked about how you, the teacher, learned a lot from your students, which I think is always an important lesson and always very meaningful. Speaking of learning, your goal was to see if your research had flowed well with your speech. And I have to say you did, because you did a good job at incorporating the research aspects into your speech, such as the kids having the ability to have all of the sounds of the language, but they cut the ones that they don't need whenever they get to 6 months or 12 months. And also with Dix and Calc, I didn't know what those were, but I'll research them afterwards. You connected your experiences with them and made them a lot more meaningful and also real to us. The only suggestion I would have would be to watch the time. I know you have a lot of content, and I was ready and willing to hear it, and I look forward to the extended version of that speech. Thank you.
last minute too. Evaluating our Chinese speaker, Lillian Cattleman, will be Mr. Roy Scherer.
All right.
Fellow Toastmasters, and most especially Lillian. Lillian told us today a story, a very poignant story about her childhood and the celebrations. This illustrates the strength of stories. We were with her descriptively, emotionally, and I don't know about you, but I think some of you had tears. I did. When she was talking about her family and the challenges of growing up. Lillian, in addition to being the best dressed person in the room, your pronunciation has improved 10,000% since you first walked in this door. Your audience contact, your gestures, your looking at people, your contacting with the audience. Marvelous. And you had a message. Gratitude. Gratitude. From where you started and where you are now. I don't know how long it was. Time goes by so quickly. Maybe 5 years. I don't know how long we've known one another. But when she first came in here, I walked behind the table. She was sitting back there. And I said, "The rain in Spain." And she turned around and said, "Well, it's mainly on the plane." And I thought, this is marvelous. Then I asked Lillian, would you like me to help you with English? And this has become not only a teaching situation, but a very close and dear friendship. So now we are exchanging ideas, pronunciation. We read the newspaper together and work on pronunciation. In exchange for me trying to learn Mandarin, which is non-existent. So very proud of you. So very proud of you.
Last but not least, Mr. Taylor Funk being evaluated by none other than King, Prince, Lazer Lekadu.
Great speech, Frank. Before that, I just want to mention, this is not appropriate for Toastmaster, but because of the occasion, I just wear that because it's Immigration Day, or immigrant. And also going on the accent for immigrant, you see, for some Americans, they think that accent comes with the connotation that you know if somebody is smart or stupid according to his accent. And that is not really true, and a lot of people know that, because accent is not a measure of intelligence. Instead, it's just someone speaking their own language, or speaking your language in their own rules that they have for their own language. So when you see somebody like Frank mentioned at the end, somebody speaking another language and trying to learn your language, hard to them. So congratulations to all of you. What you guys did is wonderful. Now, Frank Taylor, beautiful speech. Your speech was really great. Your journey to Guatemala without knowing the language, and you just went there. It's bold, and I appreciate that. A place where you went and the baby Frank was crying every day. Now, that sent a picture for the immigrant that came over here, and then you guys are looking at them, oh, now you understand. You asked me to look for a cohesive story, and I see that you really did that, because throughout your speech, everything that you had said was consistent with each other, and that was really well done. Also, you say to look for your conclusion, how you wrapped up everything together. That was also well done. So, if I had a suggestion, it would be on your conclusion to really make one sentence, because we made some point that was great, but you can make in one sentence. All right?
Point of order is Taylor Funk, not Funk Taylor. But only Lazar can get away with that. That concludes our evaluations. Will our evaluators please stand up? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
The
timer.
Do we have all of them qualified? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We have Roy in the back.
More in the back.
Evaluator number 1, let's show us your consensus, folks, by raising your hand. Thank you very much. For evaluator number 2. Thank you. For evaluator numero 3. Roy. Raise your hand, Roy.
Oh, got one vote. Got one then.
Got one vote.
And for evaluator numero 4.
Wait, he voted twice.
We got 2 votes.
Thank you, everybody, except for evaluator.
Oh, Roy's still standing.
It was Roy Shear.
Oh, yeah.